Employment often carries a singular assumption, the pursuit of a paycheck, hopefully a happy pursuit of a paycheck. And while
Thank you.
financial stability is important, today's discussion challenges us to look deeper into the broader purpose and meaning of work. And to talk about this, I'm pleased to welcome a frequent guest, Chuck Violand. Hello, Chuck.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
So, Chuck, we're going to discuss in your book, Forging Dynasty Businesses. Let me get there. Chapter 12,
Yep.
Purposefulness of Employment. Employment has a purpose, Chuck. You
Do
know
you
that.
believe it? Yes.
Yeah. Interesting topic. And I think a lot of people just think about what I already mentioned. A job is a job, a paycheck's a paycheck. But let's talk about this in detail. Tell us why this chapter is so important to you.
Well, there's several reasons why. I mean, obviously, I think the whole climate of what people expect from their jobs has changed. In the U.S., where it used to be that we worked for a paycheck, really anymore you don't need to work. There are enough government handouts and social service handouts that people can eke out a living without holding a formal job. But for those people like you and me who choose to work, there are a few decisions we make in finding the work that we want to do. Am I capable of doing this work physically, mentally, emotionally? Then, is it the kind of work that I would enjoy doing? Is this work something I would enjoy doing for a long time? And finally, is this the type of company that I would want to enjoy working at? Safety, culturally, and what I find a fulfilling sense of purpose working here. When people my age entered the workplace, and Jeff, no surprise, I'm a boomer. Okay, many of the criteria didn't exist. Okay, we didn't think about cultural fits. Safety was more about not wanting to die on the job than it was not wanting to get hurt. And we didn't look to our employers for social justice or personal fulfillment issues. We did those things on our own. Many of us took jobs because they were available. Remember, this was a time when there were more workers looking for work than there were jobs. But things have changed since then. One of them being that there are now more jobs available than there are people to fill them. So workers can be selective about where they choose to work. Another shift that's taken place is that with millennials and now with Gen Z, many of them look at work as more than just a paycheck. They want work that reflects their personal values. If they're going to trade their time and talents for a paycheck, they want it to bring meaning beyond just the work they do or the money they earn. Younger workers had their eyes wide open as they were growing up. They saw what happened with the financial meltdown of 2008 and how it impacted people's lives in their life. And then they saw the giant upheaval brought on by COVID-19 in 2020. And that's still fresh. They saw how volatile and unpredictable the workplace can be. Now, Jeff, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think they've said, if I'm going to play this game, I want it to be more than just money. I want it to be about more than just money. And, I'm not sure how different this is really than what an entrepreneur goes through when they're trying to choose the business that they want to start.
I mean, who would have ever thought that an employee might have some of that entrepreneurial opportunities in a way because there are jobs out there. Yeah, good points, Chuck.
Thank you.
You also in this chapter cite a nonprofit organization as an example worth looking at, a nonprofit. Can you talk about that?
Oh, yeah. I'd love to talk about this, Jeff. Actually, this is one of my favorite stories. It's about an organization called Team Rubicon. Now, Team Rubicon is a disaster relief organization founded by two guys, Jake Wood and Bill McNulty, in 2010. Now, that's 15 years ago. Jake and Bill were two military veterans who found themselves looking for meaning in their lives after leaving the military when a magnitude 7 earthquake hit Haiti. Some of your viewers might remember that time. Now, without knowing anything about disaster relief, they flew to Haiti to see how they could help. They joined up with six other guys, mostly veterans, and they got to work. Again, not really knowing how to do disaster relief. Well, since then, Team Rubicon has grown, and it's grown to over, are you ready for this? 180,000 volunteers who respond to natural disasters around the globe. Now, these volunteers aren't getting paid, yet they put themselves in harm's way, doing backbreaking work in less than favorable conditions because they believe in the company's mission. Jeff, I got to tell you, I get shivers up my spine just thinking about this organization. Now, there's no doubt that it's tough to find good workers in today's workplace. I get that, okay? And I'm not ignoring that. But whenever I hear a business owner complain about not being able to find good workers, I relate the story about Team Rubicon and let them know that, yes, these are people that are doing it for free.
Uh, Next, you also dig into employee motivation, community involvement, charitable causes. Now, we know those are important. Can you spotlight the more important components of those topics?
Yeah. Um, a lot of times companies have to wait until they've reached their, what I refer to as the them phase of their existence. Now, that's a term I use for the final stage of a company's maturity. Um, this is typically when a company finds itself with both the discretionary cash and the discretionary time to give back to the communities they serve and the communities that have served them through their growth. This can be their local community geographically, their industry community, their community of employees, or just a community of two people. Everybody doesn't aspire to be a Team Rubicon. I get that. And every form of giving back doesn't have to be huge or lavish. I remember a few years ago, we were working with a client in Southern California. And while our consultant was reviewing his financials, he noticed an unusual $10,000 expense on the owner's income statement. Now, this was not a big company. So $10,000 was a lot of money. $10,000 is still a lot of money to me. When we asked him about it, he got real quiet. The client got real quiet. So we probed. And finally, the client said that he had bought shoes for kids and was taking them across the border for kids who didn't have them. Now, Jeff, I don't even know if that was legal, but I wasn't going to argue with the guy. Another client buys bicycles for kids at Christmas time. A few of our clients have formalized their giving by starting charitable organizations. But giving back also can mean serving on boards of directors or volunteering with community organizations or industry organizations. Regardless of what you do, it simply means recognizing what a privilege it is to own a business in a free market and having a grateful heart. And who isn't drawn to that?
Chuck, you're not talking about just the money, the paychecks. This is good stuff. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. But I think as all companies need to do, they have to track performance, how this all works out. This might be a bit different. How do you recommend tracking performance of what we're talking about today?
Good question, Jeff. And you can track it. But before I even get into that, I think it's important to recognize that all returns on investment are not financial. This means that sometimes you might get nothing in return other than your own joyful heart. Other times it might mean that you attract the kind of employees you want, just like Jake Wooden and Bill McNulty did at Team Rubicon. Or maybe it means that the people you employ stay with you longer because they feel fulfilled by the mission that your company has. Now, I will admit, I've never seen a direct line between giving back and an increase in sales or profits. At the same time, I've never seen a company go belly up because of their generosity.
Well, Chuck, I think we developed this thought. Well, any final words of advice for those watching? Maybe others can do some of this.
I hope. Um, if you own or work for a service business, and I suspect that most of our viewers do, then they were all at least partially drawn to this work because of their desire to serve other people. Companies and service industries don't build widgets. We serve people. And I can't think of too many jobs with greater meaning than that.